So I'm assuming now that it's been a little over a day, or well, actually not quite 24 hours yet, but getting close to that my video has been out. You could see my big fail on that, and to be honest, there's no damage to the motor. People saying, "Oh, you got to take out your spark plugs and all that now. You got to put a fuel pressure regulator on it." Blah blah blah. It's like, no, actually, that's not what's wrong. Um, the motor's not hydro locked or anything like that. It's fine. It's what happened was because it's not like it was going into the cylinders. It was just coming out of the carburetor, right? That much fuel was actually. I need to hang on. This does not look as good as it could be. That's better. Yeah, so that was very fun with the carburetor yesterday and filming that. Obviously not intentional. And now it's too damn cold. It was too damn cold today to try and fix it. Like, I'll try, and I won't really even have time to do this tomorrow either to fix the carburetor because I'm going to be filming some stuff out in Olds, the auctions out there, and there's some vehicles that I'm potentially interested in, but then also just for the channel as well, get another auction tour, which is really fun to do, and they do okay. And I haven't had content for a while, so why not do something that I haven't done for a while, right? Um, so yeah, with that in mind, actually, me and Roy are planning to meet up. Like, he's planning on coming down here, and he's probably just gonna end up taking my carburetor apart and fixing it properly, which awesome. Because uh, it's too cold up there like right now for me, and tomorrow I'm gonna be busy, and then Tuesday it'll just be easier, and nothing will screw up that way. So there is that. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. There we go. Let's just get that a little nicer. Out of the way. There we go. That's better. Much better. So yeah, unfortunately, um, and basically, it's just like there's so much fuel that is not being distributed properly that it's actually coming out of the vent tubes on the carburetor. It's that bad. Um, there was a bunch of fuel in my engine bay yesterday, all over the place, and yeah, it was not fun. Hey, old school, how's it hanging? Definitely appreciate you coming to the live stream as you always do. So I can always rely on you to be at one of these live streams, unless if I do one at like 3 in the morning. Because for you, that's like 5 or 6. Oh, no worries. I definitely appreciate you popping by, though, at the very least. It's all good. There'll be more people to jump in, I'm sure. It's Sunday. Nothing else is going on at the moment. The evening. Decided to do a live because I can. Right? Kind of talk about what happened. And because, yeah, I don't know who's all watching at the moment, this video. Or this live, I should say. But, yeah, we're up to 4 viewers, though, which is nice. Because, yeah, like, I wish I had a garage, because if I had a garage, I'd probably have my Mustang fixed by now. Hell, I would have fixed it last night, but just don't sadly have one. And so yeah, I'm stuck outside in the elements and stuff, and it's really cold, and it's not fun, right? And so with that in mind, I'm assuming that's why this happened of not of it not working. So it's all good though. Again, not too worried about it, and luckily I have my dad's car that I'm gonna borrow tomorrow to go to Olds, and then coming next weekend should have my new vehicle, and might not be registered and insured right away, but at the very least I can throw the plate off stitch onto it and drive it around town a little bit when I need to. So that'll be nice. And yeah, I'm very excited for that, and I can't wait to show you. I can't wait to even see it in person and then show. What's recording right now? Oh, okay, cool. I've already seen that. Stupid thing. I'll just do that. Yeah. I mean, I hope more people come in, but if not, no worries. I mean, I Scott. And the thing is, I usually do these when I get a little bored. You know, you get bored, you do a live stream. You hope to keep it automotive related, but at times it does shift from that. That's totally fine. Not too worried about that. And yeah. So, can I ask whom is currently watching at the moment? Because I can see there's two people. If you're not able to type, that's okay. But you know, I'm always curious of who's watching my lives. And if you don't want to type, that's totally okay too. But yeah, makes it a lot harder to go to these solo live streams without people chatting. That's all. But again, obviously not upset about that. Because again, it's my fault. It's not like, you know, I could set this up through a streaming service and probably get somebody involved, but okay, cool. There's one, and it's Anthony Medlock. Cool. Yeah, I actually, I was gonna say I recognize the name, so I'm not sure if that's through. Actually, yeah, because you've commented on a couple of my videos, I think. So cool. And now it says I have 0 viewers. That's that. See, and for whatever reason now, I mean, mind you, I watched. I am right. Okay, cool, cool. That's what I thought, but yeah. And right now, like, Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins is stuck in my head because there was a lot of TikToks I was watching earlier that had that song in it. It's all good. It's a good song though. Love that song. Oh, this is new Top Gear. Hmm. Yeah, it's been a fun day or fun little bit, and also sadly, I did not sell the Lumina today. Potentially tomorrow, evening, I might sell the Lumina, and yeah, because today I had a guy take a look. Well, yeah, I mean that song was made for Top Gun. It's fantastic. I love it. Um, and sadly, like I said, you know, I didn't sell the Lumina today because the person interested in buying the Lumina saw a check engine light and walked away. I'm like, it's a 91 Lumina. You know, when you see a check engine light on old cars like that, it's not a big deal. And it's interesting what people, I guess, expect for the money. Because we pre-negotiated a price. It was a little less than I wanted, but, you know, it was fine. And then he doesn't even take it for a test drive. He just walks away. It's like, take it for a drive at least. You know, you'd see what it might need or what not. Or, like, if you can feel something, then okay, that's fine. You know, that way. But I haven't felt that there's really anything wrong with it in that regard for drivability. Like, I know the car needs a windshield and it needs the throttle cable, or not throttle cable, parking brake cable either tightened or replaced because it doesn't work. Other than that, though, and the heat doesn't work in it either. So there's that, which I think it might just need to be bled. But well, you know, other than that, it's a good car. It's a really good car. Like, I was considering driving it for a daily for the winter, and then sell it in, you know, the springtime. And yeah, and then, you know, drive Stitch again all throughout, you know, summertime, and then find something else. But decided not to do that. And yeah, for some reason I have needle nose pliers here. Don't ask me why. I just do. Which, these pliers would have been nice for the clip. Because I had these other needle nose pliers that were magnetized. So it didn't really work out very well, but I don't think these ones are they? Because if I can find that clip again. Yeah, definitely not magnetized. Cool. Which one? Are you referring to my convertible? The 86 named Lilo? I'm assuming that's one you're referring to. Okay, see, what happened to that one is I sold that one in the... a few months ago, actually. Quite a few months ago now. This would have been April, late April, early May, somewhere in there. And the reason why, because I didn't want to sell that car, but I sold Lilo because I had, well, the motor was screwed. It was pitched. And I'm not sure, like, I could have potentially saved it, but I ended up just selling it because I really needed the money too, and it went to quite a few good causes in my mind, anyways. Since, well, it went to some car parts, and also it made it so I could have a lot more fun this summer, and get my car to more car shows and stuff like that, and meet more people and all that stuff. So it was a good thing. But yeah, unfortunately, so I don't have her anymore. And what happened to the engine in that was, the fuel pressure regulator decided that it did not want to regulate fuel anymore, and was putting too much fuel into the cylinders, which then went past the piston rings, or at least one of the piston rings for sure, and was getting into the oil. So it wiped out the bearings, and it was just knocking, right? So wasn't a good thing, unfortunately. So I drove it to Calgary and then sold it to a guy who gave it to his wife, and he is now swapping in a 5-liter into that car as we speak, because that was a 3.8 V6 car. And it'll be a great little car for her. She's very excited about it, and I do have first right of refusal if he does decide, or if she decides to sell it. And yeah, so and at least it's going to a good home by the looks of it. So, and like when I delivered it, it was actually to a mechanic shop that the guy owned. It's just like, okay, this is okay in that regard. And yeah, I and I can't wait to hear, because I did message him. That was a few weeks ago. Yes, it was. But it wasn't a multi-point fuel injection. It was a CFI unit, which they called central fuel injection, otherwise throttle body. And the throttle body injection on those were not great. To be honest, when they went to the multi-point, it was so much better, like so much better. They not only made more power, but they were far more fuel efficient, and also a lot more reliable too. So, like these systems were, like, the CFI was essentially taking Chevrolet's TBI unit, reverse engineering it, and trying to make it cheaper, and there you go. And every single time you try and make something cheaper, it is worse. Or at least like 99% of the time. And case in point in this. Because there's nothing really that wrong with a TBI unit on Chevys. They're fantastic, honestly. They don't make you won't make a ton of power on a TBI unit, but yeah, it was just much more reliable compared to the Ford's unit, which the Fords only used that TBI for 4 years. Yep. Oh yeah. For new cars, anyways, there is that. Well, see, Mine was only getting, I think, 19 miles per gallon. That's Imperial, and it was just awful. Now, the car did do burnouts though. I'll give it that. And but it never ran quite right. Yeah, oh exactly. Like, and those old units weren't as good. Like, the thing is, I'd much rather, like, if I was gonna go to an injection system, I would go modern and go with a Holly Sniper, right, and do the two barrel setup. And they do make a Holly Sniper. It's a Holly Sniper 2100 setup, and it's fantastic. But and that's what I would put on that car if I had the money. Yeah, see, and the problem with electric, because the idea is fantastic, right? Of, oh, we can charge up our vehicles, and nowadays too with like the supercharging, you can charge your car fairly quickly. Not as fast as like filling up a tank of gas, obviously, but fairly quickly in that regard. And then just drive it and have zero emissions. Oh, look how good this is. But when you look at the environmental impact of a electric car, it's actually worse than that of your typical internal combustion engine. And the thing is, because if you look at the overall emissions, actually, when they're making it, is worse for the electric car. It actually takes roughly 5 years for that electric car being on the road for it to actually match or to finally catch up to the internal combustion engine. So that's interesting, right? That way. But then also, of course, with the lithium mining and everything like that, with the disposal of batteries that cannot be recycled, because currently we can only recycle, it's about 85% of all batteries made. Period. It doesn't matter if that is a lithium, if that's a regular lead acid battery, whatever kind of battery it is. Your gel cells and all that different stuff, right? About 85% of them are able to be recycled. The extra 15%, we just end up burying them, and then over time they just leak back into the system, and it's not good, right? So with that in mind, my thing has always been, okay, I know that the gasoline internal combustion engine, it won't last. Like, there's going to be a point where, unfortunately, because they will last, but there will be a point where it's just not going to be viable as much to use them anymore. And I understand that. Well, see, here's the thing with those louvers. I'm only selling them because I'm getting a set of metal ones made. They're ABS plastic, and yeah, they're just quite thin. But anyways, with that is what I was mentioning is, okay, so the internal combustion engine is probably not the way of the future, and I understand that. But and now electric can be, but not the battery electric cars. What we should be investing in is actually hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles, because you can actually combine the two technologies and get a lot better, because there are so many advantages to, obviously, electric cars. You've got that instant torque, and there's minimal maintenance required for them and all that different stuff, right? Also, they're very small and compact, and they don't weigh very much, right? Very much easier to make versus, say, your typical 4-cylinder engine, right? And what you can do is, with the hydrogen fuel cells, you can actually make the hydrogen fuels, like the hydrogen, make that into make that, sorry, my brain is just doing this right now. My ADD is going insane, so apologize for that. But you can make that into electricity and have that run the electric motor, And we can have all the benefits of the electric motor with like minimal downsides of it, right? And with the hydrogen too, is filling up a hydrogen tank is just as easy as filling a gasoline tank. It takes about the same amount of time and with the same efficiencies too. So it's like, where's the downside in that, right? And people will get scared of hydrogen, obviously, because everybody thinks of the Hindenburg. When the Hindenburg, you know, had its meltdown there, that everybody thought, okay, it was the hydrogen's fault. Well, no, that wasn't the case. See, I don't know if Formula E uses that system or not. I think they use battery electric, to be honest. Which, and obviously, we're still going to have batteries in cars. That's a given. We can't get rid of the battery in cars. But we can have one battery versus, 5,000 batteries. So, that's the better side of it. I don't know if anybody really utilizes this technology or not yet in racing or outside of racing. I just know that you can do this. And what's cool about hydrogen, though, is you can harness it from anything. You can harness it from plants. You can harness it from, even hell, a nuclear power plant. I'm not kidding about that. You can also harness it from water, whatever. Like, literally, just about any matter you can break the hydrogen down out of and harness it. It's great. And it's an infinitely renewable source of energy, which is what the planet needs right now, right? And what's cool about hydrogen, though, is that you can actually convert your internal combustion engine into hydrogen. Exactly, what Scrubworks is mentioned, right? And, that'll be the way of the future. And to be honest, okay, when you mentioned running your Mercedes diesels off of vegetable oil, you can absolutely do that. When you convert it, oh yeah, it's fantastic. And it smells kind of funky too, because it kind of smells, like a deep fryer, right? And yeah, it does work. I've seen it. Well, there's a couple of things you have to do to put a hydrogen fuel cell into a regular engine. Not much, though, to be honest. It's really not hard to do at all. Well, you do need to actually, when you put it in, because if I remember correctly, there can't be any rubber line at all within the system. Because it'll just break it down, if I'm not mistaken, due to the pressures. But other than that, it's not hard at all. And most fuel lines, obviously, throughout the car are metal, except for up towards the injectors, or in my case, carburetor, right? But yeah, other than that, though, it's great. And I wish that more people would invest in hydrogen, and actually enthusiast engines would come back in a much better way with hydrogen involved too, because you can look at one of the coolest designs of engines ever and one of the weirdest is the Wankel rotary engine. Now, and obviously it has the issues of, okay, well, it makes almost, doesn't really make a lot of torque, and it burns oil, and it's not very efficient. You run it on hydrogen, and it changes everything about that. It eliminates majority of the issues with the Wankel rotary engine, and it actually becomes a reliable, fantastic engine. The fact that Mazda toyed with the idea of hydrogen in the RX-8, actually, and with great success, to be honest, but unfortunately, there just wasn't systems in place to release a hydrogen vehicle at the time for the mass. So, yeah, because we don't have the infrastructure for hydrogen yet. Being that, we don't have the pumps and stuff like that. They're slowly popping up here and there, but more so in Europe, as opposed to here in, Canada, or even in the States. Although, I will say that the States are getting some. Up here in Alberta, I think we have like one in the entire province, maybe two. So, not a lot of places to get it at current time. But that'll be the future, and I can guarantee that. Might not be within my lifetime, but I hope it is, because again, battery electric is a horrible system. And yeah, and I mean, I convert my car to that in a heartbeat. As much as I love, gasoline and everything like that, I do understand the environmental impact that gasoline can create and stuff like that. And obviously, we won't ever eliminate gas and oil as a whole. That will never happen, at least not in our lifetimes. But in the future, they might. So they might be able to get processing where they get rid of that. And gas here right now, I think the Shell across the street is $1.37.9 per liter. I don't know what that is converted to per gallon, whatever. And let's also remember it's Canadian too, so there's that. But yeah, so it is quite pricey here for gas. But you see, I know like the conversion roughly, for per gallon and plus converting it to the American dollar, it's around $4.50-ish per gallon, approximately. But I've seen it worse, so. And oh yeah, definitely. Like there will always be diesel around. And what's nice about diesel though, it's a byproduct of gas. So you see, and like and again, and I know what they're trying to do with that, but it's not going to work in the way that they intend it to. Because eventually, like you're gonna have, and plus also, let's not forget the issues with the battery electric being, I don't know, the power grids. Like, for example, in California, they can't actually handle it. And most power grids can't handle everybody driving electric cars and charging them all at once, right? So that becomes an issue too. And, like there's so many downsides to battery electric versus, the internal combustion. The only advantage is that, zero emissions when you're driving it. Yeah. But you still have to, there's still some maintenance involved. Like, for example, there's still oil. Oh, hey, how's it hanging? Definitely appreciate you coming out to the live stream there, Sunfish. Wow, we're getting a lot of people in here. I mean, to be honest, climate change is a real thing. And it's always been a thing. And, like, the thing is, you can look at the steadily rising temperatures throughout the years, but then also steadily declining temperatures as well in some areas, too. Because I remember in my lifetime, I remember living where I used to in Lethbridge, and it never being god-awful hot. And within the past few years, when I lived down there, oh yeah, I felt plus 40 a few times. And which plus 40 degrees Celsius is about 95 Fahrenheit. And, and some Americans might say, that's not quite that hot yet. And just like, well, for here it is. Because, when you experience minus 40 and plus 40 in the same year, oh yeah, it's pretty rough, right? And I don't even remember getting that cold either. And now it seems like every year we're breaking cold records, right? So, yeah, climate change is definitely a thing. But, trying to say that, like, yeah, there is something that needs to be done for sure. And that's why I have said, the hydrogen electric systems would be fantastic. But we'll see if they ever come to that realization or not. Exactly. In Texas, it's not very hot at 95. But and consider this. Yeah, 95 in Texas might not be hot, but minus 40 in Texas, you guys wouldn't be able to handle it. So there's that whole thing too. Like, and I have physically shoveled snow in minus 40. So, and bear in mind, minus 40 Celsius is minus 40 Fahrenheit. That's when they meet. So, I know Texas did get actually quite a bit of snow and stuff like that. And it was bad down there. But yeah, it was nowhere near minus 40 though, I'll tell you that. Because I'm trying to remember actually your freezing point. Isn't that 40 degrees, something like that? Yeah, see, and that's actually let me look. Oh, I can do it that way, can't I? Can't I? Oh yeah. Like see, and that just goes to show you. Yeah, well exactly. See, and that's again, that's a climate change, right? And it's just one of those deals. Um that it does happen and we've all witnessed it in our lifetimes. Like when you think about it, yes, it's happened. There's a lot of people that'll try to deny it, but it's true. It is changing, and you know, and there might come a point too with, like for example, the ice caps melting like they are. That cities that are on coastlines might actually get flooded, like properly flooded with the rate of melt that we have, unfortunately. And that's obviously a problem, right? Because there is a lot of the population that lives on that. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the difference is dry heat versus humid heat, right? And I'm used to dry, it's always dry around here. But, yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, like I just mentioned. Yeah, dry heat versus, humid heat, right? And similar to cold as well. Not that it gets properly cold in those areas. Um, like don't get me wrong, like Texas did get decently cold for the area, but you're not wrong. Well, I'm just like, and how many cars have I already seen in the ditches now? And it's interesting because until the other day, like when I posted that video to here on YouTube, that was the first like proper snowfall that we've gotten all year, which is amazing that it's been that long because like we've had some snow, but nothing to that extent, and it just finally all fell at once, and it was a good, I don't know, 5 inches or so. Yeah, well, the bulk, if I remember correctly, the bulk of the population of Texas lives closer to the Mexican border, so um, like, and it's no different than Canada. The bulk of our population lives closer to the, I think it's the 42nd parallel, which is technically into the like when you look at the map, it's dipping down into the states. So, oh yeah, um, and well, this is the time of year too where deer are out a lot more because you got to remember with deer, they are nocturnal, right? So when it's dark outside, they're more active. And now that it gets dark, I mean, heck, here it gets dark at like starts getting dark at 4:30, and it's pitch black by 5. So yeah, it's definitely a thing. Yeah, and actually, I found out that. That's nice. What was I gonna say? Yeah, you two are sound like you're fairly close. So yeah, no, that's good. That's cool. Well, there you go. Yeah, you guys are pretty close to each other then. That's cool. Cause yeah, like here, it's interesting where I live because there's nothing super close to me, but everything is not that far away either. It's kind of weird that way because, well, I live in a tiny town called Sundre, Alberta, and the thing is, like Calgary, that has the biggest population in Alberta, is about an hour to an hour and a half ish, depending on conditions and stuff like that. Um, and to do anything here is you have to drive at least an hour, so that's not as bad. Um, like driving to Edmonton, for example, takes me about 3 hours. Driving to Lethbridge again about 3 hours. So I'm used to traveling all the time to go anywhere. To visit people, to have fun, that sort of thing. Because even like going out to Olds, which is where I'm going to be tomorrow, because I'm going to film an auction tour video, because the auction's going on right now. And I'll film that, and then hopefully get that uploaded in the next day or so. And yeah, go from there. So yeah. But an Olds is about 40K, so yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I do that with my Mustang, to be honest. Or at least used. I'm not doing that right now because my Mustang's not currently running properly. So, what's that? Okay, I don't care about that. What's wrong with the carburetor? It is, and I'm pretty sure it's both. I believe, well, I know it's one of the two or a combination of the two. Either the needle is not properly seated in the carburetor, or or that the float level is not set correctly. Either or, it's obviously a problem. And yeah, the thing is, it was spraying everywhere because it was coming out of the vent tubes, right? And then when it backfired, it came straight out of the throttle area. So yeah, it's just wasn't good. Wasn't good. But it's not really a major issue. That's the funny part. Like everybody's saying, oh, is your timing off, or whatever, because they saw that it backfired. Well, to be fair, a vehicle can backfire if there's too much fuel, right? And which, yeah, it did. So what I'll have to do is when it's fixed, which probably won't be until Tuesday. I just take everything apart, check it out. But again, Roy is probably coming down from Edmonton, and he's gonna help me out with it too, because I know carburetors, but I'm not that well versed in working on them. Like I know how to tune a carburetor externally, but It's the internal stuff where I'm not as familiar working on it. So, absolutely it is. Oh yeah, I know that for sure. Yeah. So, and it makes me wonder, like, yeah, because it shouldn't be quite that bad, but it is. So, and all of this because I decided I was going to put smaller jets in it so that it'll run better. It happens. It happens. But oh, it is honestly, it's not that hard to rebuild a carburetor. I know that. I've never had a carburetor fully apart to rebuild, but yeah. Well, yeah. See, I knew it was gonna fire up. Um, but yeah, obviously you could tell it just wasn't running for very long. So yeah, but it's all good. Shit happens. And also then something because to fix it, my little zip tie job I'll have to undo because I lost that little pin. I dropped it, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, right? So, like to be honest, if I had a vise, I would have taken the carburetor completely off. That lever, I would have drilled into it, or that pin, I guess you can call it. I would have drilled into it, put a cotter pin in it, call it good. Because that stupid little I should say it's not a pin, it's a clip that's supposed to go in there. It's so small and such a pain in the ass to get to. Just like, why not just use a cotter pin? It's just so much better. But no, they didn't end up doing that. So, and it just, yeah, and it would not go back in place because the needle nose pliers I was using. Yes, I did lose it. That's what I mentioned. I dropped it, so I lost it. And Jeremy, that it's from the fuel tank. You know, it's not anything new, and it's just I was messing around with the carburetor the other day because again I was replacing the jets in it, and yeah, then it's just the float isn't set correctly, and probably the needle isn't seated as well because I don't think I properly seated it. To be fair, when I was putting that together, it was pretty damn cold outside. So like it was about -14, -15. I was just like, and I couldn't really wear gloves because to do the delicate work I was doing, gloves were too bulky. Even the thinnest gloves were too bulky. So just like, crap. Okay, so I couldn't really warm my hands properly. So every 5 minutes or so, I was running inside to warm up my hands. Yeah, and it's definitely possible. Yeah, as I said, it's either the float or the needle not properly seated, or possibly both. So yeah, and it's just one of those deals that, and we'll figure it out Tuesday. So, because again, I'll be busy tomorrow. I don't think I'll have time to do it. But that's how it goes with these old cars, though. Like the thing is, I like the simplicity of a carburetor, but fuel injection is much nicer to deal with. That's all. It doesn't need to be rebuilt. That carburetor has about 1,300 kilometers on it. Plus, we've already kind of been through the carburetor, anyways. Everything in it's like relatively new. So, internally to the carburetor, it's fine. Like that was a reman kit, you know, that I got off a guy. He only had 500 kilometers on it before he pulled it off his truck, and then I've put another 800 kilometers on it. Actually, no, I think I put a little more than that. But still, So like, that's why I'm not rebuilding the carburetor, because what's the point? There's no reason to. And oh, that'll be fun. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, being a 4.6. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass to do that on a 4.6, but not as bad. I'm not sure what the conversion is. To be honest, it's like 0.8 or something. Um, let's see. Where is my mouse? Where's my mouse? I don't know where it is. 0.6. Okay, that's what it is. I couldn't remember for sure. Yeah. So you know the conversion when I talk about it too, because again, I'm on my phone here. I can't look it up for you guys while I'm doing this. For stuff, and I don't always know that stuff. Like, I try. I do know some conversions, but not all of them. Ah, see me. Ah, there you go. Nice. Yeah, see, for me, like, it's interesting because when it comes to, okay, speed limits and stuff like that in distance, I know kilometers better. But top speed, I know miles per hour. So, oh, nice, doing the works. Very nice. Uh, are you upgrading all of that or just going OEM? Yeah, I was a little frustrated. Um, as soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh crap, here we go again. And yeah, my mind just went, okay, I have to review this footage and see how bad it actually was on camera. And oh yeah, it was bad. The only thing is, I wish I filmed that in the daytime so you could see it a lot better. Yeah, that little clip did drop that. I mean, it's not the end of the world, I zip tied it back together, so that was fine there. But I have to undo the zip tie to take the carburetor apart to fix the float, to fix potentially the needle, to fix this. So again, it's just another freaking one more hurdle. But hey, it got me a video though, so there's that. Mind you, I was hoping that was going to be combined with the other videos that I filmed to create one bigger video, but it did not. It's a kitty cat. Hi, it's Super. Hi. Ah! He's trying to eat me. Yeah, you're trying to eat me. And yeah, I mean, like, and the thing is, fails like that. I think that video, it's not getting a ton of views like in the first bit. But it's probably gonna have staying power though on my channel, where it'll keep getting views steadily going up, because videos like that tend to. So yeah, and then like, and I do have some content coming out for you guys. That's nice. Yeah, I think it's encroaching 500 now. I think I could be wrong, or maybe it's past 500. But regardless, I can't remember where it's at the moment. Again, I checked it this morning, so and it, or actually, it wasn't this morning. It was a little in the afternoon sometime. Hi, fat cat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but and for me, like, because people will say, oh, don't use zip ties so much and blah blah blah. Just like zip ties are like a godsend, at times. So well, that's not bad. I mean, now that's miles or kilometers. Because miles, a little different story. That's a little higher, but still not super high yet. And the thing is, what's interesting too is I'm used to like higher mileage vehicles because you always have to drive here in Alberta. To do anything, you just have to drive. Although my Mustang has low mileage, it has like 123,000 kilometers on it right now. Do 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 do. You're violent. That's already all been done. So. Like, there's nothing wrong. Okay, there's nothing wrong. I know what the issue is. It's internally to the carburetor with the float. Is it the float or the needle or both? Right? That's the problem. So, and I'll just have to investigate it. And now that there's like proper amount of fuel in there too, it'd be a lot easier to figure it out better. And yeah, so I'm not I'm not too worried about it. And this will be the final thing done to the car for quite a while now. Because, and especially once I have the Jimmy in my hands, Stitch is going to be parked, so. Yeah, I don't have the $600 for an MSD box. Like, it's funny when people say, oh yeah, just upgrade it to an MSD. Yeah, there's $600 for an ignition box. Screw that. I could damn near buy my Holley sniper kit for that. I'm not spending that kind of money on an MSD ignition, not right now, especially when I don't have the money. Like, in the future, it'd be nice, but right now, no. Like, that'll be a thing for when I go turbo on the car, that's when I'd do MSD. Otherwise, there's no point. On that, the stock system is just fine and it works great, and especially that stock distributor. Oh no, okay. If you're referring to the distributor itself, upgrading to an MSD distributor on that 6 is absolutely worthless, because the best distributor for that is a stock replacement like I have. The Duraspark 2 distributors are fantastic. Well, yeah, it's a little higher mileage, but hey, well, like I said earlier, that I'm going to be filming a few things this week, because okay, the start of the changing out the jets and the carburetor and the finishing of it will be one video. Then I will because that'll be a video. Plus, I'll have the auction video that I'm going to film tomorrow. And then on the weekend, I should have a video filmed of the Jimmy. So, yeah. As I said, 3 videos or 4 videos this week is not bad. Or should be about 4. So, yeah, it should be fun. And I can't wait to have that Jimmy, because I can park Stitch in the wintertime and don't have to worry about it, right? Because driving Stitch in the wintertime, not that it bothers me to drive it in the snow, it's how slick it is and stuff like that, and how I can control it, don't get me wrong, but it's not something I'm as comfortable with. That's all. So, So yeah, it'll be good to have her out there parked instead of driving around all the time in the wintertime. I'll still drive her in the winter when it's like a nicer day in the wintertime, but not you know all the time. So yeah, and it'll be much better that way. Um, wait, hang on. Go to the junkyard. Why would I go to the junkyard? No, you're not gonna find an MSD box in the junkyard. They would they'd be pulling those out, going in just about any junkyard, guaranteed, before they got there. So yeah, I'm not gonna find an MSD box in a junkyard. Um, and even if it did, like right now, it doesn't need it. And the distributor, again, you put an MSD distributor in one of those, you're stupid because it's the best distributor I'm not getting for those is the stock one that's in it. The Duraspark 2 is a brilliant distributor and it works fantastic. You know, yeah, the MSD is a worthless upgrade. Telling you right now. So yeah, and no, not just the Mustang stuff. Like it's everything during the day because I don't film at night for obvious reasons. Lighting is terrible and it comes out like crap on camera. Like if you saw my last video there that I just filmed and put out the other day of that 3-minute clip of the carburetor doing its thing, that it looked like crap. And that's what happens at nighttime too. So yeah, I don't like filming stuff at night. I just don't. Plus, it's warmer in the daytime too, typically, especially around here. I got to think about that because it is winter. And with the Civic, there's been zero progress on that. I still think it's outside the shop right now. It's kind of annoying. Um, Lancers are cool. I will say that. And actually, you know what? If you like a Lancer, you'll like what I'll eventually get to film. It's probably be sometime in the spring or summertime. Because well, it's essentially an Evo but on stilts. Is a Mitsubishi Pajero Evolution. Um, I saw it at a car show and I asked the guy, "Hey, would I be able to film this?" Sure, and I have his phone number. And so whenever it works for the two of us, I'll go to his house and I will film that car and it'll be so cool. Because as soon as I saw that, like he wasn't getting a lot of attention. It was kind of sad. And it's just like, how can you not? Like, this is an amazingly rare car that is absolutely brilliant. Um, and yeah, and actually, like here in town, I know where I want to ask the guy about it. There is a Mitsubishi or not Mitsubishi, a Toyota Celica Alltrack, which for those of you that might not know what that is, if you've heard of a Celica GT4, same thing but left-hand drive. That's really it. And also, there's some other minor differences too. Like for example, it is detuned over here, but to be fair, if it wasn't detuned for over here, it would just run like ass because our gasoline isn't near as high octane as what it is over in Japan. You know, where the highest you can get here, and it's only a couple of pumps that have it, is like 93. Most pumps only go to 91 octane. Average octane in Japan is like 100, 104. So that's why fuel is also so much more expensive over there too. I mean, people tend to forget that. You know, you're not typically getting 89 octane at a pump in Europe or Japan for your regular fuel. But yeah. Yeah. Or like, I mean, up here, there are some pumps that carry 95, but it's kind of hard to find. Um, and like every gas station here has 89 and 93 or 91. Yeah, and I know octane is measured differently between the two systems. Um, that is true. However, though, you can get much higher octanes at the pump than we can typically. Even seeing that, right? I don't really know much on E85. Like, to be honest, 85% ethanol scares me in that regard, but yeah, I mean, I know there are a couple of pumps here and there that you can get 100 octane here in Alberta too. Like, I would love to put 100 octane in my car and see how much better it runs. Because that's the thing. When you have the older carbureted cars, they love the highest octane you can put in them. I was gonna say, I think Jeremy might be a bit behind on the recording because he's replying to stuff that I did a while back. And yeah, absolutely. I always have fun with what I film. And sometimes, like, the thing is, everything that I film for YouTube, I like. Um, that's why, like, when my friend said, "Hey, you can do some, you can review my Chevy Cruze," and I'm going, I don't know if I'd enjoy that. Like, my car, I've put 90 in it, and it definitely runs better with 91 than it does with 87. So, um, it just gets expensive running it on 87 octane. Or 87, 91 octane, I should say. And not that my car truly needs high octane. It just runs a little better, that's all with it. And actually, I'm gonna grab a drink. Shall be right back. You can talk amongst yourselves for a moment. There you go. My cat might photobomb me. Ah. There we go. Okay. Hi, Saber. You're gonna have to move. There we go. I am back, and I do not see. Nice. Love the South Park reference. That's fantastic. What's that? It's funny to use a turbocharger as the cup holder because that's what I'm doing. And actually, let's tip this a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. But yeah, because now, and I'm sure as let's move this out of the way. Oh, hey, no worries. If you need to go, no worries. And I mean, here's the thing: I wasn't rushing to film. The thing is, I'm always on my own time when I film. But here's the thing: when I film, I was filming that just in case if, well, for one thing, I was finishing it off and I wanted to have the car for the next morning, which was this morning. Um, and that's why I did it then, right? Because that's when I had time to do it yesterday. So, yeah, it's one of those deals. It's not like I was doing it because, you know, I was just doing it because, again, it was when I had time to do it. Sure, let's see. Is LA beating Edmonton? Hopefully. Yeah, because eventually, now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to actually put this turbo on, or if I do a different turbo, or if I just go supercharged instead. Because the thought has crossed my mind. I'd much rather use supercharging than turbo, to be honest, but turbo's easier. Because yeah, I have this little baby turbo here. It's so cute, right? Little IHI AS12. It's a 46 millimeter, and you know there's zero play in the shaft, so that's nice. And it's actually a turbo in good shape. But yeah, you know, and I can't wait to have a turbo in the car and really make a difference. You know, I'm not sure if I'll use this turbo just due to the fact that it's not the most ideal setup. It's only ideal because it's free, and free turbos are the best turbos, right? Like this, size wise would actually be not bad for my little motor, but we'll see. Because again, it's only a 3.3 liter. It's not exactly a massive engine, so that always sits beside me. And like, if I am going to utilize this turbo, the only thing I need to buy for it is a blow-off valve because it doesn't have one. It has the gasket for one, but that's it. So yeah. Oh, trust me. Here's the thing. I will always get like I'll always get frustrated with stuff and whatever else, but it's not like I'll ever quit. There's a difference. With that, right? And there are plenty of times when I've wanted to quit with this car, but I don't. You know, I'll take a breather and walk away from it for a few hours and then come back to it. But or even just a day. And and it's like with the other night or with last night, it's just like, you know, it was my only car, so and it is my only car until next weekend. So, and then this morning I just borrowed my dad's car, which I can borrow my dad's car whenever, but I do have to work around his schedule. So, like tomorrow in the morning, I am taking his car and I'm going out to Olds with it, and then filming that video, coming back here, then he will. Well, I guess he doesn't need to go anywhere tomorrow, so there's that. So, and I'll probably just take his bank card too and go grocery shopping. So, works out for everybody. That's fair. I mean, I multitask a lot, but it's easier for me to multitask versus other people because of my ADD. I can actually go. Like for example, right now I'm watching the Edmonton Oilers play the Kings while also talking to you guys as well in the chat, and yeah. Although this is not the game I actually care about, but there's nothing else on TV. I'm waiting for the Flames game to come on at 8 o'clock. Or either 8 or 8:30. What is it? I think it's 8 o'clock. It's 8:30. Oh no, it is 8. Never mind. Okay. But yeah, like in the Civic, I don't know when that's ever going to be touched at the moment. It's just frustrating. like it should have been installed in the shop by now, but still hasn't been. Um, I love that little car and I really want to drive it, but also like I can't do any proper winter driving in it, like when there's snow on the ground, until the rust is fixed, because it'll just fall apart with it if I daily drove that throughout this winter. And the problem is to weld it, I need it warmer outside, so or borrow somebody's garage, which I can do. Technically, there's a shop I can borrow down in that's near Calgary, but because I have free access to that shop whenever I need it, I just contact them and go from there. Plus, I also want to film his vehicles too, but I'm gonna try to film them outside. But yeah, I always have a bunch of stuff on the go. Like, you know, um, yeah, and especially during the summertime too. I only use my phone for all of the footage that you see ever on my channel. That is my phone on a tripod, or me holding the phone, but usually on the tripod. So yeah, and my phone happens to be a Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy A52. So, in case you're wondering, like this thing shoots fantastic video and has amazing stabilization. I just wish you could zoom in on the stabilization, but you can't. So that's the one thing I kind of struggle with. And then the nighttime shots aren't as good with this photo or with this phone, but other than that, it's not bad. I'm a big fan of it. Because before I had like early on my YouTube, that was with my my Huawei. My Huawei P20, which did not have camera stabilization, so it wasn't as good. Yeah, I mean, and I'm filming stuff all the time, and there's a lot of stuff that I still have to film. Plus, there's places that I want to go talk to the owners of properties of and talk about their vehicles and see if they would let me do a video on their vehicles. Because there's one guy that I know, I don't know who actually owns the property, and I do want to go up and knock on their door one of these days, but just haven't. And I mean, I'm gonna wait until it's nice and warm before I do that. Because he has a first gen RX-7. He has an old crew cab Ford, from like the late 60s, early 70s. And then, and he has a few other cars and trucks that are older that I haven't really paid that close of attention to what they are. But, you know, I would love to film his vehicles. And who knows, maybe he's would consider selling something, and either I buy it or I sell it for them on commission, like I've done for a few people around town. And GoPros would be nice for filming. For example, because I can edit now actually pretty easily, especially with the editing software that I have makes it really easy to edit the way that I do. Because most people edit heavy and I don't. I just combine videos and stuff, and I can break them down and whatever else, and do it that way. It's very easy, but I don't add animations and stuff. So yeah, but I mean, a GoPro would be sweet for like doing roller shots and stuff. I would love GoPros, but I can't afford GoPros. Frick, I can barely afford my car, let alone GoPros. Because right now, like, it's gonna be a while before I'm caught up on my bills again. And again, I'm spending more money as we speak, but I'll get there eventually. Be a few months. To be honest, once I start selling more vehicles, it'll be a lot better. But again, that'll be spring, summertime when I'll be able to sell the bulk of the vehicles that I want to sell. Well, that's a bit of a trek in to New Brunswick. Quite a bit of a trek. Um, and very expensive to get down there too. Because don't get me wrong, like I would love to travel like coast to coast here in Canada. It'd be amazing, during the summertime. But yeah, and like something that I'm wanting to do, in it's coming up in August. There's this thing called Miles of Mayhem, and it's an event similar to Drag Week in the States, where it's 5 different days, 5 different tracks, and you have to drive your car there. It cannot be towed, right? So it is kind of a really cool thing that I'm hoping to hit up, and it'd be really fun to do in my car. I'm gonna be one of the slowest ones there, but I don't care. Just there, have fun, and it'd be great YouTube content too. I could film some of the road trip. I could film, passes at the strip, and all that different stuff, and you know, I could hopefully have actually my friend Lisa with me, and she can help with the filming and getting different camera angles and stuff. Because like the thing is, I do have to, like I have my old Huawei that I can use as a camera for that, and then I can have this on my dash, doing it that way. So yeah. So like I said, I hope to hit that up in August next year, but we'll see. Because it'll all depend on if I have the money to do it, because it's not going to be a cheap trip. Oh, one of those style of cameras. Yeah, that'd be neat. Like, what I'd absolutely love to have. There's this drone on the market. I can't remember what it's called. I'd have to look it up. But it costs about $3,000, and it'll go up to, I think it's 60 kilometers an hour, while being able to also circle whatever you're doing. So, for example, if you're driving your car up to 60 kilometers an hour, it can circle your car from above, or even at level too, and circle your car that way. It is so cool, and that would be such an amazing thing to film with. But the problem is, it's $3,000. So yeah, I'm not obviously not going to be buying that anytime soon. And and then um, cause yeah, and the weekend after, like, I'm gonna be going on doing a little bit of a drive, hopefully, anyways, to Red Deer and meet with some of the girls from one of the car clubs that I'm part of. Yeah, so that should be fun. And then afterwards, when we're done there, I do want to hit up. I think he is in Edson, I want to say. I could be wrong, though. But, anyways, a friend of mine near Edmonton that I want to visit him, and I want to see what parts he might have for me, because there's a possibility of some trade going on with some parts, so. And if it does happen, with the trading parts, there's gonna be something very exciting and pretty radical to happen to my car that has been done before, but it's not common at all. It's quite rare for people to do, in fact. So I can't wait to hopefully have that happen. I'm not revealing what that is yet, but there's a little teaser. And it's gonna be done to my Mustang, so. That's better. But yeah, so that's basically what I have kind of going on for the next bit, and then I guess the week after that, that's gonna be Christmas. So there you go. Oof. Man, I don't think anybody. Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of stuff that I've thought about that I could get to elevate my channel that way, but it's just money, right? Because it's not like I make a lot of money off of YouTube. It's not a ton. And eventually, like, don't get me wrong, I would love for YouTube to become a main source of income for me, which won't be for quite a while, and I know that. But I could build it into that. I have no doubt. Just with the progression that I've had in the past year, it's incredible. Because like a year ago, I only had 300 subscribers. I'm now over 1,300 subscribers. So most people that do YouTube aren't able to do that, and I did. And so, and something that I can do that most people can't, because most people that can't live off of what little I do. I don't know that because I don't get a lot of money at all. Um, and so with that in mind, yeah, I can live off of the incomes that some of these other YouTubers get from YouTube. But yeah, so not sure what else to talk about now. Oh, for sure. And hey, Sean, how's it going? Yes, you sensei. Since you're not doing the live until next weekend, I think is when you said you might be able to do it. Now that I decided, hey, I will fill in your time slot. But yeah, no, it's been a fun time. Ah, yeah. See, I saw that you were going out there, which is cool. See, and to be honest, I work my ass off to get people to watch my videos. Like Sean knows this. That I'm part of so many different groups on Facebook just for the sole purpose of actually, promoting my videos. Um, like, ooh, nice goal. Um, like for example, just last night, in anticipation for me getting this Jimmy that I'm getting, I joined I think like 6 different S10/Blazer groups, and Jimmy is a S15. So same thing. And yeah, just to promote the video that I'm gonna do on that, and then future videos that I do on that thing as well. So I can't wait for that. Yeah, and actually, I didn't catch what you were doing in Washington D.C. though. yeah, I mean, and I do like, you know, I do, for example, like I'll shout out other people's channels and stuff like that. I don't do it near as much as say Roy does or some other people do, but you know, I definitely do. And like for example, that little video that I did, um, with calling you out just with that our bet that we had, right? Um, and I knew that it was gonna do that. It was a fun thing for me to film, and I knew it could draw some people from your channel, but then also draw some people from my channel over to yours, right? Works both ways. So, hey, no worries. Yeah, because I can understand if it's something important, then you don't need to mention it on the live. It's all good. I'm just curious because that's a little bit of a distance for you. Ah, see me. Um. Yeah. Well, let's see. Ooh, nice shot. Oh yeah, and also like something else too with YouTube because I know I've gotten some like not a lot, maybe about 10 or 15 subscribers or so from TikTok actually, and being out there on multiple platforms helps to your growth as well. And people will use hashtags to get their growth more too. Because, and I do it too, although I don't use the hashtags of, like, for example, there are some people who will use, like, Scotty Kilmer's hashtags and Tavares's hashtags and stuff like that, and try to trick the algorithm to, you know, have their videos in mix with those, but I don't do it that way. I use the same hashtags all the time, but, you know, it's just one of those deals. Yeah, because I don't want to steal somebody else's thunder that way in regards to that. So, yeah. Hey, fat cat. Oh, yes, you're a fat cat. I love you. I love you. But yeah, um, yeah, I just can't wait because now finally have more stuff to film this week, which is nice because I've run out of stuff to film for a bit. So, it should be 3 videos that I put out this week, which will be nice. Well, the thing is, most of my videos get more than 700-800 views, anyways. Like, if you look through, because YouTube tells me of when a video is lagging behind and stuff like that. Like, my last video that I did on the carburetor there, that has about, I think it's 500 or so. And it's getting there. Like I said, that's a video that is just, it has staying power and it'll keep increasing over time. It's just like my some of my Civic videos, um, even the Monaco videos are still getting views every now and then, which is kind of cool. And the more you grow, the more people will go back too. Well, exactly. Like, to be honest, um, and also with YouTube, because if you are monetized, YouTube will want to push your content more than, say, if you're not monetized. So, being that I am monetized, they tend to refer us a little more on the end of other people's videos. So, and yeah, and that's what I found, anyways. Yeah, which and actually on my videos, that's quite a bit too. Like when I put out videos, I get an average of about 18%. Um, and then as about the week goes on, it gets down to around 8%. So compared to most people, anyways, it seems like it's quite high that I've noticed. So that's nice. Yeah, it's just one of those deals that. Oh, really? Okay. It it just feels that way. Because like mind you, I've been getting bigger, so there's that. But like it seems like because it tells you, what video is recommending your video the most, and sometimes it's actually quite big videos, like on much bigger channels than mine. So I'm like, ooh, that's kind of nice when I see that because I'm getting out to a much bigger audience that YouTube is trying to do that. Not all the time, like that's every one in every about 10 or 15 videos that's doing that now, but still. Um, but compared to most people, I also chuck out a lot of content. Yeah, that's fair. And hey, I mean, if I did every video in a bikini, every video would explode, but I'm not doing that. Like, totally defeats the purpose of what I'm doing. So, yeah, and actually, you know what? If you were naked and on fire, yeah, they would just delete your video, sadly. They might let it stay if you were on fire, but not if you were naked. So, it's just how it works. They don't like nudity. But also, YouTube doesn't like violence either, so. On fire, yeah. They might just take it down, too. Yeah, see, there's that. Like, and the thing is, and that's why, like, and a lot of YouTubers, what they'll do, and especially automotive YouTubers, I've noticed, they'll pigeonhole themselves to one thing, and whether that is, you know, like, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but the problem is if you're just working on the same thing over and over and over again, or showing the same thing over and over and over again, it gets repetitive, and you don't grow your channel quite as much doing that. Like that's why with my car and my channel, that I do a lot of different content. Like, don't get me wrong, my Mustang is the main focus, but then there's also the Civic in the background. There's gonna be the Jimmy now too, and I film a bunch of different vehicles too. And that way, I get a bunch of different people that'll come to the channel, and get a much more subscribers out of the deal too. And like my van videos, people love those, and they just go nuts for when I did the van videos. So, like, yeah. You see, and for me, what I like to do though is because all the videos I put out, it's stuff that I want to do, but it's not. And there's times too that I'll do a video just for myself, and if it does, great, awesome. And if it doesn't, oh well, right? Um, like with my stuff, um, because like for example, one video that I absolutely loved to film, but I knew it was probably gonna do not that well, is the video that I did on the Nissan Sentra. It was a early second gen Sentra. Really cool car to be honest, very boxy, and you just never see them. And this one was like damn near immaculate. But that video, when I put it out, it got like I think 100 views in a week, and it was tanking. Now though, it's getting up there slowly. Like that's one that's getting views over time. Because actually, I can check. Is my computer on? Yes, it is. See, what I can check right now is, okay, do that. Do that. Because I can look at my analytics for videos. Okay, do this. Go to the YouTubes. Okay, cool. I don't care. YouTube. So yeah, like I can go into, there we go, YouTube Studio. Oh, there we go. So my my last video of the carburetor fail, that has 529 views right now, which is actually pretty decent. It's not amazing. Like most of my videos get a little more than that, but let's look content. Filter. Now let's just go. Sentra. There we go. So the Sentra video. Yeah, like I posted that Sentra video on September 19th, and it only has 164 views. It gets views every now and then, but it's not great, right? But to be fair, that's just a video I did for myself, and I didn't really care, right? But then there's other videos that I've done that's just they get a lot of views, and I typically get quite a few subscribers out of the deal too. It's kind of nice because there's a lot of channels that'll get the views, but they won't get the subscribers. So all they're getting is the watch time, but they're not getting the thing that matters is the subscribers in the end. Or at least they both matter, but you know what I mean. And yeah, like, and there's like, it's interesting because, well, my short on the burnout actually for that square body has 1800. Yeah. Well, see, and I think, like, because I mean, I know that I put out a lot more content than a lot of YouTubers do. You know, like when I'm putting out videos every few days, typically, you know, like every 2 or 3 days, most people get burnt out and don't do that. You know, like in my last, let's see, where's my last big video at? Yeah, so my last big video actually has less views than my carburetor video. But to be fair, fail videos tend to do better too, I've noticed. For that. But even if I look, yeah, my last big video that's actually done anything well was my compression test gone wrong, and that has 1,105 views since November 12th. So, oh, yeah, I absolutely get that. Like, there's a lot of people like that can't dedicate the time to YouTube like I can, right? And that's totally understandable. You know, when you don't have, when you don't have to go to work every day, you can have more time like I do. So it's not as bad. Yeah, that's a short that has a lot of views. You see, and it's interesting, like, and I know that and the bigger I get too, for example, the revival videos will get bigger and bigger too. Because my second most watched video ever was Will My Civic Start, right? After sitting for 26 years. So, that has 6,900 views, 6,903, Well, my top video of all time has 8,235. But there are, and I know there's people with videos that have a lot more views than I do. But like, it's something that has been getting a bunch of views lately is actually the video I did on. There's a guy named, I think his name is Douglas, here in town, and he owns a 1951 Ford F1 pickup, and I did a video on it. And that, in the beginning, it did okay, but I posted that April 18th. It now has 2,566 views on it, which is amazing. Oh, is that what I think it is? Hang on. Oh, really? The Canucks hired Bruce Boudreau. Cool. Yeah, I mean, and I actually filmed 2 videos that day, because not only did I have that video, but then there was a Firebird video that I did as well, and that was filmed on the same day. That's why I'm wearing that same kind of hoodie dress thing that I had. I love that little thing. I just wish it fit me better. Let's just see. Bruce Boudreau. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Oh, you haven't seen that one? Okay. Yeah, because that was on a 1968 Pontiac Firebird. It's purple. It's honestly awesome car. I love it. And yeah. And that's definitely true too. Yeah, it's one of those deals. Because I love to put out a lot of content, but let's see here. Oh, okay. There we go. Cool. But yeah, and just things that you can do to help grow your channel. Like, I do, because I've been thinking about putting out a video too that's just, hey, one of the ways, like the ways that I grow my channel. Because, and also, like, networking is fantastic too. Yes, exactly. Like, and I, when, because, and you can get burnt out on YouTube quite quickly. There's lots of people that do. And it is, it makes sense. But, because there are times too where I just don't want to, do YouTube at times. Like, I just would much rather just sit inside for a day or two. And that has happened. But during the summertime, I'm just go, go, go with YouTube, right? This entire summer was basically spent on YouTube, which I had a lot of fun doing it. and I was going to shows and stuff like that, and like there's a video that I could compile together and work out that way. Now see, and I wonder. Wow. Wow, see, and it's interesting, like, going back to on my channel and just seeing, because, like, there is a lot of stuff that I did back in the day that I don't do near as much anymore. Like, I used to do a lot of stuff as sitting in my car and talking. And, yeah, I started doing that in 2020. But, but that's, like, and I can look at the very first video that I kind of put out and then kept going with it and doing regular uploads after that was actually a video that I said a little problem in the car hobby, and it was just just people being just jerks in it altogether, and it's nice seeing that video it doesn't get very many views anymore, but that was the first video that took off for me, and it currently has 1,108 views, which is nice. Like, and that's the thing. I never also get upset if a video just tanks. And I'm just, okay, whatever, move on to the next one. Just, for the future that if you want to put out content and make it go good, you don't do that again, right? Because, and I've tried a lot of stuff, but some of it's worked, some of it's hasn't. So, it can be. But for me, I just move on with it, right? And then, because the thing is, there are videos that I put out too that I'll look at them and go, well, okay, I didn't expect you to do this well. But then there are others just like, oh, why are you tanking? But, that's okay. They all balance each other out in the end, right? And especially once you finally get there too and get the regular viewers and the regular subscribers, you get a lot better. Like one of my Mercury Capri videos, when I had that in my possession, didn't really get that many views. Although the nice little 2-minute video that I did, which now, and it's interesting. Okay, so that one in the future might get some copyright onto it. I forgot about that video. But and then it's just wild where you see the progression of some of my videos where I was constantly getting like 1,000 views, then it drops down to like 500, 700, then back up to 1,000 for like 1,000, 1,600, 1,300, 1,500. Yeah, I had all of my really big hits then, by the looks of it. But, and the thing is, I have 130 videos on my channel, so it's quite a bit. Oh, whoops, I did not mean to do that. Oh yeah, that's true. Like, and the thing is, because there's a lot of people that spend a lot of money on YouTube producing content. I don't. YouTube doesn't, like, I pay almost nothing into YouTube to get the return that I do, other than traveling for some stuff. But most of that stuff when I travel for, it's also for me too, and then I get a YouTube video out of the deal as well. So, it's kind of a win-win. But, and if you go into it as an enthusiast more so than as a business, I think you get more out of it. Like, if you think about it of a business sense, you're kind of, Oh, wow. It's kind of interesting looking through my videos and just going by date. The first time I announced that I was going to be live on Novitaz's channel was February 27th of this year. Oh, on your Chevelle video? Or the truck video. Or which video are you referring to? I'm assuming it's one of those. Oh, you mean? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah, it's almost been a year. Like that's so cool. Like just scrolling through because it's a video that's only 58 seconds long that I put out. This is before YouTube Shorts were a thing. And I just put out that hey, I'm gonna be live on Novotaz's channel this weekend or whatever I said in the video. Right? It's almost been a year. Like how cool is that? Yeah, I realized that after I said it. But yeah, it's always cool to look through your stuff and like, um my one Junkyard Tour video, for example, has 1,800 views, but to be fair, I know why it has that many views. I'm sitting beside a 1960 Brookwood wagon, and if you look in the back, it's just a bunch of 50s and 60s treasures in that area. So, like some of these videos, I don't know why they explode, and others, I'm like, how did this explode like that? Oh yeah, like I had been watching your lives for I think about a month at that point. So something like that. Uh, oh yeah. Yeah. Did I? I don't remember winning that. To be honest, but it's been so long. I don't remember that. Although I know I'm gonna win this year. Clearly. I'm way ahead of everybody else, so like I could for the rest of the year, I could not do anything on your channel for your lives and win. I don't think I did, no. And the problem is looking at history. That's too much history to look back on because, for watched videos and stuff. Wait, actually, how many videos? Oh, hang on. Why is that video not monetized? I'll turn on monetize for that video. There we go. None of the above. There we go. Or yeah. Actually, hang on. I have more videos than I said I did. I have 264 videos. Yes, yeah, I mean, good. That's up to you, right? Like, I mean, I think I was nowhere in the hunt for that, but I was involved. I think. I could be wrong on that. I don't know because I don't remember it being. Yeah, because I think I kind of grasped onto that closer to my. Wait, no, no, what happened then? Never mind. I was thinking of something else. But yeah. Hey, and it's fun, right? Like, I always have fun, even when I've been slightly annoyed. It's still a great time on the live. So I definitely appreciate you putting them out when you do. And and I appreciate, really do appreciate whenever you can come out to mine. I understand that you're a busy guy and you can't come out to every single one of my lives. Plus, I never prompt these, so it's just when people come along, hey, come along. Doesn't matter to me. Yeah, it looks like you are now, which that happens. I mean, hey, I've been going for nearly 2 hours, so that's not bad. Some of my lives lately have only been getting like half hour to an hour, so this is pretty okay. So, and if it dies here, that's okay. Because, yeah, I might make some popcorn and watch the hockey game here in a bit when it comes on. But yeah, and actually, I do want to ask you though. Yeah, of course, and and again, that's not the end of the world for me. To get it. But actually, did you see my last video that I put out of the absolute fail of my carburetor? It's really not that big of an issue, to be honest. People are making it more of an issue than it actually is, so, or trying to. Yeah, where it's way overfilling it. Okay. Well, basically, I don't really do a close-up view on when it happens, to be honest. But that video, it's entertaining to watch. It's just oh my god, it looks like such a major issue, but really, no, the jets are actually, I put in much smaller jets than it had in it. It had 50 jets in it, and now has 40 jets in it. So yeah, it's the float. But also, I don't think the needle is actually seated properly either. So I think it's a combination of the two, of it being so extreme. Because yeah, basically what's happening, it's overfueling to the point of it coming out of the vent tubes, and then also when it gets inside the carburetor, it's actually backfiring to the carb. So pretty simple to fix, to be honest. It's just I won't be able to fix it tomorrow, and it might just be Roy that's fixing it because he's gonna come down, and I might show him a couple things around town too. So it'll be a good day on Tuesday. So, because yeah, because I may or may not have time tomorrow to do it. Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't think the needle is properly seated either. So, the thing is, I think both of them are an issue though, because I don't. When I look back at when I put it in, I don't think I did it correctly. So, yeah, it's all good. To be honest, when I didn't have, it was interesting. When I ran the car before. Now I wish I could have got this on camera because it was fantastic, and I didn't realize it was doing it. Because the car was running, it wasn't doing what it's doing right now. It was running just what was in the carburetor itself, but nothing was set correctly or anything like that. I had the top of the carburetor off of it, and the fuel was shooting straight up and hitting the hood actually. It popped up. But I wish I got that on camera, but sadly I did not. So that's okay. It just, when things fail with me, they fail spectacularly. Yeah. It was running pretty good actually. It's just I just got the jets in, it was all good. And then I fire it up and it's just oh, okay, that's a problem. And then I had to get a rebuild kit because I lost the needle. So that was fun. But hey, that's how it goes with me. And, it's fine. It's just one of these deals. It'll get fixed likely Tuesday, and it should be fine. So, yeah, me and Roy can have a good day out of it. Definitely. Because especially he knows a little more about this stuff than I do. Like I do know, but it's like I don't have the practical experience doing it, so that's the difference. So he'll probably help me out in setting the float properly and all that fun. And yeah, and that too. Because when I did that last night, when that happened, it was minus 14 Celsius. So what is that in American? Yeah. PC. Like not. It was cold enough, and especially when I couldn't wear gloves because they were too bulky for what I was doing. Let's see. Minus 14 Celsius. Yeah, so it was essentially 7 degrees last night when I was doing that. 100%, yeah. And, it'll be a good time. Like, I'll probably end up buying him, like, lunch or dinner. Part of the deal, too. I'll probably end up bringing him to the bar and getting the food there. Because it's freaking fantastic food. And if... Well, and something that I'll do as well for him is if he's willing to trudge a little bit, he can film the stuff out of Greg's if he wants to. Because I know he wants to see what's there. Because he's a big fan of that stuff. And, he can have a cameraman. Or a camera girl in this case with me. So, I'm totally okay with doing that. I filmed his collection. Now he can film some of my stuff. Or technically not mine, but... Because the only vehicle out there that's mine is the Lumina, and that'll be gone hopefully tomorrow. So, fingers crossed on that, because freaking Buddy Day. That was annoying. But yeah. Well, it should be fun. But, yeah. Yeah, that'll be fun. But hey, at least, you get something really good out of it, right? It's not, you're not just doing it for more space to store more crap. No, it's to store your car. So, that'll be good. That'll be very good. Yeah. I wish I had a garage, but all good. Technically, like, if the car could run properly and drive down the road last night, I would have asked my buddy if I could take it to his garage, but... Oh, for sure, I get that. You were, you got a lot going on, so... Concerning that. Oh. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm just happy that with Greg's that I can store anything I want out there and it's totally fine. And we have such a good relationship to where like I've basically sold damn near every vehicle he owns at this point. There's only probably around 13 left. So I've sold like 28 of his vehicles, including one motorcycle that I only had for sale for like a day, and somebody immediately gave me the money. It was like, cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, he definitely helped you out a lot, and yeah, and it's nice to have those friends, right? It seems like it for sure. Because yeah, like you know, I have friends that would help me at the drop of a hat when they can, but there's not very many of them that are nearby. That's the problem. So, because yeah, like Roy, he's coming down on Tuesday. Um, but he's like the only one that I can actually rely on for like if I need help with my car. Concerning the carburetor part, because like yeah, I have another friend here in town that's actually pretty good with stuff, but he's the one that helped me out when the compression tester got stuck in cylinder one. That was fun. Although it was so weird how it actually ran pretty good idling on 5 cylinders. It was bizarre. Oh yeah, he is 100%. Um, and I just hope like there's a time when I can repay him for all the kindness that he's done to me. And I haven't really been able to like properly do that yet. But in time, and I'm not saying like monetarily or anything like that, because it's definitely cost me a lot for his help. Not that he's charged me anything, but it's just traveling up there. But yeah. 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 Well, he's a fantastic guy, and I like hanging out with him too. We have similar mindsets on stuff, and yeah. Ah, hey, no worries. I was thinking of doing the same thing. So yeah. I definitely appreciate you coming to the live stream. Thank you so much. And for those of you watching in the future that stuck around to the end, hey, I definitely appreciate you. I will chat at you all later. Love you all.